Hi, I'm Ryan Malyar, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Marlborough Minute. This is just a great little platform we have here on WMCT-TV to connect with residents right here in the Marlborough community. Today I'm excited to have Randy Scott, member of the Marlborough Lions, and he's going to tell me about a special little app that he's got on his phone that could really serve us. But first off, what do the Lions do? Because I think that's going to really lead us into what the specific app is all about.
Okay, Ryan, thanks for bringing us here. The Lions, we're a service club. We're dedicated to helping people, particularly in our own community, but all the way throughout the world. We try to find need and help it. We try to minimize people's plights when they have them, or like in the case of vision, which is one of our very strong points, we try to eliminate as much vision problem as we can. Those people that do have an affliction, we try to give them some kind of a leg up if that's possible also. And we work with Braille Press and those kind of things also. So there's a bunch of stuff we do. Our models we serve, and that means all sorts of things. You know, we've done public health issues before as far as the vision. We do our Couch to 5K for general.
That's happening right now. We were just out there and we saw Mark Gibbs and a bunch of other people just getting people active and getting hearts pumping out in the community.
And it's a little more than that too, because one of the things is vision's an issue for us. Diabetes is a problem for vision. Being healthy, walking, losing a couple of pounds may just eliminate one person that's up there by the rail trail this evening, you know, from getting adult onset diabetes and, you know, not having vision problems later. It all ties together.
It all ties together in a totally whole body holistic approach to just health and well-being and community and connectedness.
And happiness.
And happiness too. And what we're going to talk a little bit today is public safety.
That's correct.
So the app that you were telling me about, and you've been telling me about it for months now, and I've got it on my phone. Well, maybe you tell us about the app.
All right. So we're here at WMCT-TV on Main Street, but actually I'm sitting at a different location. I'm sitting at Extra Voice Meals.
That's funny. I'm sitting at Wipe Stale Hearts.
So the app is called What 3 Words. It was developed by a gentleman in the UK. And what they did was they took the entire globe and broke it down into 57 trillion 10 by 10 squares. So picture 57 trillion pop-up tents. All right, you're in one tent, I'm in another, the line somewhere in between us. And you have 3 unique words, and if you notice, they're not similar to mine.
No.
There's a reason for that, because that way there, should we need to make an emergency phone call. If I have a heart attack while I'm sitting here talking to you and you need to make an emergency phone call, you don't happen to know where you are. Maybe we're not in your studio. Maybe you don't know where you are. We're having dinner someplace.
So sometimes even I'm driving on the highway, I've had to call AAA and you get on your phone and you're trying to figure out between what exit am I? Where am I on 495?
Yes.
Where, you know?
Right.
So this is a way to really nail in a geographic location.
It works really well. I don't believe AAA has tied into the system yet. 911 does.
And that's the big player here.
That's a huge one. So if you hike, you ride a mountain bike, you have an ATV, you ski, especially if you ski off trail, cross-country skiing, any of those things, snowmobiling, boating, any place where you don't have a real street address that you can go by, you can get it through here. It works pretty much the same way as latitude and longitude.
Mm-hmm.
Latitude and longitude is 16, 18 digits long. That's hard to remember. 3 words is easy to remember. And one of the big scenarios is, let's say you and I are hiking in Callahan State Park in Marlborough. There's some areas down there that have poor to no cell phone coverage.
Okay.
And I trip and fall and break my leg. And we're a mile and a half from the car, but we don't know the trails. You don't know the trails. Well, we can take your phone, get the 3 words to where I am. You can then walk back until you get bars on your phone, call 911, say, I was with my buddy Randy. He broke his leg. He's going to need some help. He is at those 3 words. 911 can look it up. They have a module on called Guardian as part of their 911 system. There's a bunch of modules in there.
Yeah.
Guardian incorporates what 3 words. So they can send first responders with the what 3 words to the middle of the woods without a street address.
Wow. Because they have the technology to reverse it.
Correct.
To reverse it to longitude and
Yes.
latitude and really hone in. And when you're looking at it, it's a map. I can see where we are. I can see Bolton Street. I can see Main Street. But I can also see how it's split into these 10 by 10 squares. It's
Right.
really very clever
It's-
and very simple when you think about it in that way, too.
That's the key, the simplicity. And it
And-
has other uses, too. I mean,
Tell me more.
all right, so we just had the Boston Marathon last week.
Right.
And your cameraman, Mike, is running the marathon, and we're going to meet up there. But you're coming from Wellesley. I'm coming from Marlborough. I'm going to meet you in Natick. Can't park anywhere near there. Can't even find street signs because there's so many people, and there's so many people, it's hard to find. But I can give you my 3 words, and you're going to show up within 10 feet of me.
Wow.
And you can do that. So it's those
Think
kind
about
of
a
things.
big sports arena when you're trying to find someone and you're going by different sections, or a convention hall where there's, if you're at a bridal convention or
Right.
whoever, and you're trying to meet up with someone, even at Disney World,
Exactly.
You could either meet at Mickey's house or you can give them those exact
Mhm.
points to meet up with someone. A lot of different scenarios I
yeah.
can imagine this working
And,
for.
and like I said, 911 is very sophisticated.
Right.
Those people know their jobs. They're very well trained in their jobs. It's important for anybody that has to make an emergency phone call to be articulate, because many words sound similar, even though they don't put them close together. The application, actually, if you say, find me such and such a location, it will give you 3 or 4 choices so that you can see the words as opposed to hear them, because a lot of times people will talk them in either over the phone or even voice text into them, the application. So, that can be a little bit tricky. It's not a perfect application, but it's very functional. Let's say we were Lake Winnipesaukee, a big lake.
Yeah.
Right? And the boat ran out of gas. And I want to call my buddy. I'm floating in this very large lake,
Big lake.
big lake, no location finding whatsoever, but I can
Very
just say
few landmarks that you could, just homes and greenery.
one wave looks like another.
That's right.
One wave looks like another, but I can give him 3 words and he can come up with some new gas for me, fill the tank, and off we go.
So does this work offline then too, or do you need to be connected to your cell service or to the internet?
It's GPS based.
Okay.
It's GPS based. And all they've done is simplified latitude, longitude into a different format to make it simple for laymen. I mean, if you were a seaman and you made your life a lobster fisherman, you're going to do latitude, longitude. You know that. You can know it backwards and forwards. If you've been a serviceman, you know it backwards and forwards. People like you and I, maybe not so much.
I'm just trying to think. It wasn't a very large application to go onto my phone. I'd have to look it up some more. So I can't imagine it downloaded all of these maps onto my phone.
It works the same way as Google Maps does.
Sure. So it does need to get some connection here and there.
Here and there.
But I'm even thinking, I vacationed in Japan, and sometimes if you're traveling internationally, the streets aren't in your language. It's very difficult to find people that you're meeting up with, point A to B. And this would have been a huge tool for me.
Would have been huge. There's a lot of countries, South America, some in Africa, where if you look at the street map, there's 3 streets. If you look at the satellite map, there's 10,000 buildings.
Right.
Because there's no streets, there's just pathways between them. And that's one of the big things they're using this application for, is locations like that. DHL worldwide uses 3 words for deliveries in some of those places, because you can't get medical supplies and nobody knows where to bring it.
Right.
There's literally no address. There's no street address. There's no numbers. They try. They put them up. By the time they get them up, they kind of washed off. It's what we have here is not what's worldwide.
No.
It's very helpful for them.
Offhand, do you know of any other larger organizations? You said 911 and safety. Are there any other big groups that are utilizing this technology?
There's some car makers using it now. Mercedes uses it, and Subaru, I think, has it incorporated into their newer models also.
Pretty cool.
So that if you want to navigate to someplace and whoever you're going to go meet doesn't know the address, but they can say, "Here I am," or your daughter's broken down, your 18-year-old daughter's broken down on some dark street. She doesn't know the address. She can say, well, looks like I'm 3 miles from, 182 Main Street, but I don't really know where I am. Or she can just give you the 3 words.
Right.
And dad can jump in the car, go get her, fix her tire,
Yeah.
and then tell her, this weekend I'm teaching you how to fix your tire.
Well, I think how often my GPS is incorrect too, with businesses that have changed names or things like that, and how much easier it might be for a business even to put it into you have your traditional address and then just to put their 3 words in. If I could put that into my GPS once it's integrated, that'll be huge.
And it doesn't change.
No.
Or at least it won't for about 50 or 80 years.
Yeah.
As the tectonic plates move around, the addresses will actually change, but it's pretty stable.
Yeah. Now, I think you've figured out a way to sort of gamify this for an event that we have coming up.
Well, that's true. Because there again, I'm here to just help promote this to people so that they will have one more tool in their safety belt, We all have seatbelts we use in the car. When's the last time you used your seatbelt?
This morning.
You used it or did you wear it?
Oh, I wore it.
When's the last time you used it?
Oh, I don't think I've ever had to use it.
There you go. So the same thing. You put the app on your phone. It's there. Hopefully you never need it.
Right.
Or if you do use it, you use it for convenience. But, if you need it, it's there and you're good to go. And that's kind of what I'm here for, is that public awareness. Put it on your phone.
It's
Hopefully
not going to take up a lot of space.
Nope.
Let it live in the background somewhere.
Yes. So in a couple of weeks, on May 5th, we're having the Family Fun Festival.
Can't
all
wait.
the service clubs have gotten together. All the people like the Lions, the Rotary, everybody else, we're all there. And one of the activities that the Lions Club is going to be doing is we're going to have we'll call it a treasure hunt, but we're going to set up some different stations around Ward Park. And you'll need to find that station. It's probably going to be like cities. So you'll get your 3 words and you'll get a sheet and say, all right, so I got to Paris. And the next 3 words, I got to Istanbul. And when you come back with your completed sheet, you'll get a trinket of completion.
Oh, like a little passport sort of game.
Something like that, yes.
Oh,
but
fun.
just to increase the awareness, to get at least, a few dozen people to put this on.
And that way, if, God forbid, you ever do have to actually use it in a practical emergency sense, it's not the first time you're doing it. It's not the first time you're opening up the app.
Correct.
You've gamified it a little. It's going to be one of the many fun things that you can do at the Family Fun Festival.
And the big thing is we're going to ask people to, once you try it, once you use it and you understand it, tell everybody. Maybe you don't hike. Maybe you don't cross-country ski. Maybe your son does. Maybe your cousin does. Your brother-in-law. Somebody probably does something where they're at risk of being in trouble, needing some kind of assistance, maybe not emergency assistance, but some kind of assistance where they don't have an address.
Right.
All we're doing is addressing it for them.
Once again, what's the name of this app?
It's called What 3 Words.
Totally free to download?
Totally free to download.
Are there any paid options? Sometimes they want to upcharge you for some.
I really haven't looked into it too much. I do know, like, if you had a delivery business, you can sign up and do it commercially. So they have some commercial applications. There's very few downfalls with it. Like I said, there's some word similarities. They avoided homonyms, but there are enough similar sounding words, and it's 2-dimensional.
Right.
So that means is that if we're in a 10-story building and there's a fire broke out, you don't know the building, you're just there for a meeting, you don't really remember the address how you got there, you call 911, say, I'm in a building, I'm at 3 words, whatever they are, I'm on the 10th floor and there's a fire, because it's 2-dimensional. That cube, that pop-up tent can be 10 stories high.
Right. That would be my 4 words if they got
that. You would think that. Well, and that would take that would take a whole lot more words. Or it would, because they use a database of 40,000 words, and with 3 each, that's 40,000 cubed, and that gives them the 57 trillion pop-up tents that they can name.
Right.
So it's pretty interesting stuff.
Beyond the Lions Club, do you know of any other groups in the community that have gained this education and are learning about it? Have the Scouts picked up on it?
The Boy Scouts, I was trying to do something with the Boy Scouts to have a little demo on this, and I couldn't quite organize it in time. But I do know the Boy Scouts are very familiar with this. They had a jamboree and they were working with it quite a bit. So that's, it's coming. It's one of those things that people are going to use more and more often. I can see that happening. New Hampshire, Vermont, I'm certain about New Hampshire. They're trying to get signage up at trailheads for all the hikers, because in New Hampshire and Vermont, it's very common to start hiking in the woods, and 15 minutes later, you have no bars.
You are turned around. Yep.
Right. And, if you don't know the trails, somebody gets hurt, you slip and fall in the winter, you've got to do something, and there's no bars. You can't get on the phone. So if somebody needs to come get me, you need to know where I am. And I might be quite a ways off. Public safety is going to get this information. They might even come in from a different side, or they might send a helicopter, and they can do whatever they want, but they're going to know exactly where I am. And so I know that, they're working very diligently to get signage up there. The lawyers are involved, because this is a private application. There's some things going along with that, but it's in the forefront here, and it's important. And I wouldn't be here if I didn't think it was.
No, and thank you for being here.
I have one more thing.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
Just one more thing. I feel like Columbo. And it kind of falls into the same line. But I just got an email from Google.
Okay.
And they partnered with a company called PulsePoint. And so anybody that has those portable AEDs for heart attacks.
The defibrillator?
The defibrillator, the portable defibrillator, right? And so all of your gyms have them. They're in City Hall. A lot of big buildings have them. Nobody knows where they are. So PulsePoint is working to get those people that have them in place to register them. They will put them on a map. So now you and I are walking down the street. Randy has a heart attack. You need a defibrillator, right? You don't know where to get it. So you're doing your compressions because we know that you've taken CPR.
Okay.
And if you haven't, you should. There again, why not?
Why not?
Why not? It's like wearing your seatbelt.
And why not get recertified every few years too?
That's correct. But in the meantime, you look for help. And hey, I need an AED. And you call 911. 911 says there's one in City Hall. It's on the 3rd floor, the 2nd door on the right. And PulsePoint will take care of that mapping so that can happen. And the other thing that PulsePoint does is if you're going to register your AED, they're going to tweak you every 6 months or a year, whatever the battery life in your unit is, to make sure that it doesn't go dead. Have you changed your battery? Have you changed your battery? And they will bother you until you say, I fixed it.
Now
And if you don't, they will take you off the list.
You need to rewind, because what is PulsePoint? Is this another app?
It's a company. It's a company.
Okay.
They're partnering with Google, so they work with Google Maps.
Yeah.
And there will be, or there probably are in some areas, I don't know if it's around here or not. I just learned about this, but I had the opportunity. I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
Because anybody that has a business that has one, if you get that email from Google,
don't ignore it. Please
don't ignore it.
Please register this vital, life-saving piece of equipment that you have.
It's a good idea, and I can't find any downside yet. There may be one.
Well, you're just full of public service announcements, Randy. I appreciate it.
That's what I'm here for today.
Excellent. And
Lions, we serve.
You do serve.
We serve information sometimes.
It's wonderful. It really is great. And I hope if you've tuned in today, you've picked up a few little tidbits. If you've got a defibrillator, then look into PulsePoint and please register it. And because that information is going to be getting spread out sooner than later, I hope, so that your device can be accessible for someone in your community who might need it. And look at My 3 Words, because that is just a fantastic resource that doesn't take too much room on your phone. And who knows, it could save a life.
Thanks. And you can come to Family Fun Festival and we'll show you how to use it.
Excellent.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. And that brings us to the end of another episode of Marlborough Minute. Thank you for tuning in, and stick around for more great content here on WMCT-TV.